Hello students, Ginger here. This lesson is going to be about speed reading. I have developed an exercise that will help you read about twice as fast, and you'll also learn how many words a minute you read normally. So let's go and learn how to read faster. The first thing I want you to do is to read a page for 2.5 minutes. I'm going to show you the page. It's about guns in America, the right to bear arms, and it's about the Second Amendment, so it fits in with what we've been learning. And I'm just going to sit here and time you for 2.5 minutes. What I want you to do is to read from top to bottom, and if you finish before I tell you to stop, I want you to read it again from top to bottom. And if you can, read it 3 times, top to bottom, in 2.5 minutes. Okay, are you ready? You're going to notice I'm a little more high-tech this time. Okay, here's the reading. And I want you to start up here at the top, read down to the bottom. If you have time, I want you to read again. Okay, here we go. I'm going to time you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, stop. How many times did you read it? Did you read it 1 time from top to bottom? If you read it 1 time, that would mean you read it at 100 words a minute. If you read it 1 time and you were halfway through, you got down to here, that would give you 1.5 times or 150 words a minute. If you read it just a little bit, you were reading maybe down to here, you got down to the 2 definitions, the interpretations, and you stopped right here, that would be about 80 words a minute, or 80% of the reading, 80 words a minute. So 1 time is 100, 1.5 times is 150, 2 times would be 200, and not one time. Just down to here would be about 80. And so now you know how many words a minute you read at your regular pace. Um, I, I want to tell you that the native speakers in your classes, in your future English classes and your other classes, native speakers in English read about 250 words a minute, and that's how quickly they speak. So when they read, they're reading to themselves every word. And I think you do that too, but you just read slower because it's your second language or your third language, and it's not, you don't know every word in the reading, so you have to kind of stop and think, and things stop you and slow you down. All right, so it's interesting, right, to know how many words a minute that you read. Um, and it's also interesting to know that if you read at 125 words a minute and your classmates read at 250, that means that you are going to have to study twice as long when you get to your other college classes. What takes them 5 hours to read 50 pages is going to take you 10 hours. And that's not going to work, right? Because you don't have time for that. You shouldn't have to spend twice as long reading the same amount. So this is a reading technique that I'm going to explain to you that is going to help you read faster. And what I want you to do, the technique itself is called reading for meaning, or reading in units or blocks of meaning. And it means that when you read, you're not reading every single word on the sentence. You're just looking for meaning, 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 and you're connecting the meaning up, and your brain is working connecting the meaning. That's called reading for meaning. And it's much more effective. You don't waste your time reading words that aren't important to the comprehension or the meaning of the article. Are you ready to practice this? I think so. All right, time to read again. I'm going to time you again. So I'm just going to be sitting here, but if it's quiet, that means you're supposed to be reading, all right? And this next article is going to be a little more challenging for you because I've only kept the meaning words and erased the words that don't have meaning. So you're just going to have to plow through. You're just going to have to force yourself to read what's there and let your brain connect the meaning. Your brain is a very powerful tool, as you know. We don't use much of our brains on a daily basis, but I'm going to force you to use maybe twice as much of your brain to do the second reading as you did the first one, because you won't have every single word to rely on and to make you feel comfortable. So I'm going to push you out of your comfort zone on this one. All right, let's do it. Are you ready? Okay, here's another reading. This is from our diversity, from our diversity unit, unit 2. And in this reading, you can see it's 150 words, and you're going to have a minute and a half to read. And again, I want you to read it over and over and over until I tell you to stop, okay? And you're just trying to figure out what the meaning of the reading is. Okay, this time you'll have a minute and a half. I'm going to time you, and don't stop until I tell you to stop. Read it over and over and over. This is going to be more challenging. Use your brain. Okay, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Stop. Okay. How was that? Are you comfortable? How many times did you read it? I wanted you to go from the top to the bottom, and only half of the words were there. So I hope that you read twice as quickly. So if you read the first one time, I mean, if you were just reading the normal rate that you do, then you should have read this one 2 times, which would mean that you're reading at 200 words a minute. If you read 80% last time, my guess is that you read 1.5 times this time, or you doubled your rate to 150. If you read twice last time, perhaps you read this 4 times. And if you're reading it 4 times, even if only half the words are there, you feel like you know what this is about, right? Up here, it's about how diverse the United States is. Kids speaking hundreds of languages, immigrant children in schools. This is about where they're moving. They're moving to smaller places, not just big cities. This is about why the immigrant populations have changed. In 1965, they made other places easier to immigrate from. Instead of Europe, you have immigrants from Latin America and Asia, Mexico, China, India, Philippines. That's pretty straightforward, right? You don't need all the extra words that I took out. So yeah, I think that you had to read that second one faster. Okay, so now you have the technique. You saw what it was like to read every word. You saw how much faster it was to read just the meaning. And when you're reading, you can focus on finding the meaning, not reading every word. That's my advice to you. It takes a lot of practice. It's going to make you feel uncomfortable if you really put your mind to this and try this technique. But eventually, you're going to get great at reading for meaning, and you are going to be able to read faster. Another tip I have for you is every time you read a page, I want you to stop and write some notes. What do you remember? If you read the whole page, you're going to say, what do I remember from that one page? What are the main ideas? And if you force yourself to write down the main idea for every page you read, eventually you're going to be able to focus more deeply. You're going to have a reason for reading. You're not going to be wasting your time. I remember when I was in college, I was a chemistry major, and I had these big chemistry and biology textbooks. I used to just go to the library and, 50 pages, and I would just read on word after word, and then I'd be falling asleep, and I'm like, what am I doing? I'm wasting my time. I don't remember anything I read. But if you read a page, write down what you remember. Read the next page, write down what you remember. Just look for the meaning. Do I already know this? Do I understand this? I can go faster. That's how you read faster. It's not magic, but there are techniques and things for you to practice. So that's what I want you to do. Read faster. Send me your words per minute for the first reading and the second reading. That's part of the email that you're going to send to me to show me that you participated in this video. Okay, thank you, you guys. See you soon. Bye.